Oh my gosh, you guys. I just cannot with this woman. Welcome back to my channel. I do not have electricity. I just want to say that everything in this video is alleged and take it for a grain of salt and make your own decisions. All right, let's get into it. Lord, give me strength. The Today Show Amber Heard interview is out. At least I think, maybe, or partially. I had understood them to say there was going to be 3-part like snippets and then there was going to be the full interview, but it appears like the full interview might be out today. I'll go ahead and link that for you guys so you can check it out. It starts with Amber Heard saying that the verdict still seems really surreal to her. She also says that she stands behind every word she said to her dying day. Well, I gotta give it to Amber because she's definitely headstrong. That's her story and she's sticking to it. I'm gonna start calling her Shaggy. Amber goes on to say that the jury had to have been influenced by social media bias. There's no way that they could have been immune to it. You guys already know my opinions on this. I feel it's very highly insulting. Basically saying that someone is incapable of making an independent decision on their own based on the facts that are presented to them and that it has to be that they were influenced by some outside source. And to say that social media had to have been that outside source. There are plenty of people who do not even have social media. So to say that every single person on that jury, because it was a unanimous decision, had to have been influenced by social media is completely ludicrous. My husband, for example, he doesn't have a YouTube, he doesn't have Facebook, he doesn't have Pinterest, he doesn't have any of the things, TikTok, nothing. He doesn't have, Snap Face, as he calls it. None of that stuff. He feels that it's a extreme time suck and a waste of his time and energy, so he doesn't even have any of those things, never has, and doubtfully ever will. He didn't even know the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case was going on. Neither did my father or my 2 sons until I spoke about it because I was doing research on it. Never even heard of it until I spoke on it. At one point in the interview, Amber admits to not feeling confident that the jury was going to come back with a positive verdict in her favor. She said that when the day that the verdict was handed down, she was not feeling confident. And I feel like that speaks volumes. The interview briefly touches on the UK trial from 2 years ago. Amber goes on to say that there were reasons why Johnny lost that trial, explicitly saying that it was because there was a judge who handed down the decision in that trial and the jury wasn't involved. So again, blaming the jurors, but not blaming the jurors. She also claims that Johnny's legal team distracted the jurors from the real issues. Girl, what are you talking about? They did quite the opposite of that. They called your ass out on all of your BS, tried to make you show a little bit of accountability, which you did not ever do. I found it telling that at no point in the trial did Johnny deny any of his bad behavior, but Amber always had an excuse for hers when she did take partial ownership. She would always say that she was pushed to that, or she couldn't take it anymore, so this happened. It was never a responsibility for what she had done. You, my darling, did not take 1 iota of responsibility for any of your actions, and I feel like that was damning to you more than the social media bias. I feel like it must be difficult to be so damn perfect. I can't relate, because I screw up all the time. We get to one point in the interview where the interviewer points out that some people were completely disgusted by both Johnny and Amber's behaviors and didn't really sympathize or relate to either one of them, and asks Amber how she feels about that. Amber begins by acting like she may possibly have some kind of ownership to this, but that ends quickly. She goes on to say, "I would not blame the average person." Okay, so with that statement, is it just me? Or do you guys pick up on this too? I'm picking up on this thing that she's superior to all of us because we're just average people, so we can't possibly understand, the average person. I feel like, again, this is her flexing her superiority and her narcissism. She thinks that the public will feel that it's just two spoiled Hollywood elites acting out and behaving poorly, but essentially, us common folk, we can't understand that it's much bigger than that. We're just as unintelligent as the jury. Of course, they're just average people too. So what do they know? What do they know about truth and honesty? Then Amber touches on freedom of speech, and I'll give it to the interviewer because she did not hold back. I do think that this interviewer did try to hold Amber accountable for a lot of things, but you know Amber, she just danced around it and manipulated the situation to paint herself perfectly. Amber goes on to give us a history lesson in how freedom of speech came to be, and it derived from the Greeks, and how she perceives freedom of speech, and that all she was doing was power to the people, little person speaking up, to the man, and she's paying the price for that. That's all this boils down to, is that she told the truth, and the man is going to deny her right to freedom of speech. Okay, this part, I wish I could play you guys the clip so you could see this, because I just really can't with this part. Elizabeth, I'm coming.
You hear that, Elizabeth? I'm coming to join you, honey. Oh. Maybe that's Elizabeth.
This is actually real life. Like, she actually really said this. Check out the interview. I'm not even kidding. This is real. The interviewer asks Amber, what are your thoughts on Camille Vasquez's closing arguments saying that you were giving the performance of your life and that all you were doing was acting on the stand? Amber's response, and I shit you not, she says, this is coming from the lawyer of the man that convinced the world that he had scissors for hands. What is happening? Does she really think we believe that he actually had scissor fingers? I mean, apart from a child, I really don't know anybody who honestly believes that Johnny Depp has scissor fingers. Do you? Or were they actually scissor fingers and I've been living a lie my whole life? So she said she listened to a week of people testifying what a terrible actress she was and saying she's a horrible actress and blah, blah, blah. So how can she be both? Nobody said you were giving a good performance of your life, darling. They just said you were giving the performance of your lifetime. So that's invalid. So the interviewer comes straight out and asks her if she was abusive to Johnny. And of course, Amber denies this. And when she's pressed further with audio recording, of her reading the audio recording of her explicitly saying that she was hitting and abusing Johnny, Amber says that a person who is in a situation where they're afraid for their life will say anything. And these were just things that she said to save her life, that there wasn't any truth to those things that she said. But she also says that she's never lied before. So I'm confused. Then she goes on to talk about not having resources. And this is where I go from laughing at her and being annoyed by her to getting pissed off, to be quite frank. I live in an area of complete poverty, poor. And these people don't have resources. We don't have resources. If a woman is getting beat by Billy Bob, her husband, down the road, and let's say she doesn't have parents to go move in with, she's stuck there. There's no place for her to go. There's the housing that we have for poor people with our community, the ratio to availability of resources to people who require those resources is so not even in comparison, that there's no place for this person to go. There's nothing for them to do. They either have to be homeless, live in their car, go live up on what the people call Rat Mountain, which is basically where all of the people who have no money go to live in public housing, and it's full of drugs, it's full of violence. You're escaping one problem for a whole set of new problems. There's just really no out. And right now in our county, we're also having a child trafficking issue. And we're down to 3 police officers for the whole county, from what I hear. So how are they supposed to respond to any kind of domestic dispute when they're so far spread? That part really pisses me off. You want to talk about not having resources, Amber, living in your mansion, driving your nice cars, taking your trips, going to Coachella, having the money to do shrooms and don't go there with me. The ending of the interview is she flat out calls Johnny a liar. She said she doesn't so much as say all his witnesses are liars, but she implies that. She won't straight out say it, but she implies that. She takes no accountability for her actions and the ugly things that she's done. She simply states that she did have poor actions and ugly things, but it's not her fault because she was pushed to this. And after years and years of abuse and mental and physical and emotional abuse, that this is the monster that she became, and she was unrecognizable to herself. So again, no accountability for those actions. Everything in the interview that she said sounded very rehearsed and fake to me. There was only one sentence in the entire interview that to me sounded authentic, and that was the sentence at the very end of the interview where she said that their relationship was toxic. And that's, you know, I think that sounded authentic because it was true, and she believed that was true. The other things that she said, just to take ownership, like that she did ugly things and blah blah blah, she had a justification for that. Sorry, we have no power still and my light just died. She had justification for all of that, and so in her mind, I don't think that she really believed those things that she was saying to be true. So, all right, that's it for this one. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, Girl Scouts.